My name is Marcia Jews. Welcome to STEM City USA's coverage of the Women of Color STEM Conference. Through all 3 days, we will be bringing you incredible interviews with inspiring STEM pioneers leading the way in industry, government, academia, and around the world. And now, please welcome our next guest.
Hi, my name is Tracey Edwards. I'm a fourth-year PhD student at Michigan State University. I study nuclear physics and radiochemistry, and I greatly enjoy mentoring women of color throughout the graduate school process.
And we are here with the Women of Color TV, and we are so excited. We have Tracey Edwards with us today.
Hi,
Tracey. She is a third-year PhD student at Michigan State University studying nuclear physics and radiochemistry. Her research is focused on the perturbed angular correlation of radioactive metals to characterize chemical processes using gamma spectroscopy. Her research at the Facility for Rare Isotope Beams directly applies to the Department of Energy's Defense Nuclear Non-Proliferation Research and Development efforts. You got to know the words.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of her academic, she's a member of the National Society of Physicists, NSPP, and the American Physical Society, APS, the Physicists Coalition Nuclear Threat Reduction, and most recently, Tracey participated in Nuclear Science Day on Capitol Hill, advocating for the proposed Department of Energy nuclear science budget for the fiscal year 2024. And she holds a Master's of Science in Physics from Michigan State and a BS in Physics from Hampton University. Girl, that's
I know. You did great, though.
I love it. So where did you get all of this that you wanted to delve into this division of science?
So I'll be honest, it kind of just happened gradually, like over time. I never envisioned that this would be my story ever. I can't say it did start. So you mentioned the National Society of Black Physicists. I attended their conference back in 2014 as a senior in high school. And that year, they were celebrating all the Black women who had a PhD in physics. Mind you, I'm a high schooler, so I've never even heard this before to that moment. And so I'll never forget watching just these Black women just sit on the stage. And I said to myself, I said, what can I do to be just like them one day? And then here we are. Here we are.
But this is a huge journey that you made this type of leap into some of the most complex departments of this United States of America, right? How did you see yourself? It sounds like you could see yourself there.
I think I can. I mean, I say I'm a tough cookie. I come from great parents and a great family who've always told me I could literally do whatever I wanted. There was no limit where I came from. Limits don't exist. And so I think being in school, still had great mentors who've also seen that potential in me and who said, hey, how about this opportunity? Why don't you just try it out? I think my curiosity and my lack of fear of just trying is kind of what's gotten me this far.
And so as you, the journey, was it as complex as you thought it would be? Or once you got in there, you really started to excel?
No, I think honestly, I didn't know what to expect with this journey because I don't know anyone who's done it before. So it's kind of like I learn as I go. I definitely didn't think it would be, I knew it'd be hard, but you don't know how hard until you're like right in the middle of it and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. But again, it's like I have incredible mentors. I have incredible family members that keep me grounded and remind me to persevere. And so it's like in the toughness and the hardness of it all, I don't have a reason to quit. So I just kind of keep going.
So now you've made this entry, right? What's the next step here?
To graduate. Get the PhD. So it's like my next steps is to finish out my exams and then dissertation, and then to hopefully defend the next 2 years. Get my PhD in nuclear physics. So, fun fact: we just received our 100th woman getting her PhD in physics, a Black woman getting a PhD in physics this during the COVID pandemic.
I love
So
it.
I don't know what number I'll be, but it's still, it's still a pretty small number of us. I think at Michigan State, I'll be the second Black woman to get a PhD in nuclear physics,
Wow.
with a 25-year gap in between. Since the last one came from the 90s. So I would say I have a large legacy to fall in behind, but hopefully next up is to graduate and get a job.
But I know that you're
I'm
up for the
always up for a
challenge.
challenge.
Right. And so when you look at what
Mhm. Yeah.
it's coming at you, and they're coming
Yeah.
at you
Yeah.
fast and hard, how do you balance that with the work that you want to do versus the work that you need to do?
Okay, see, that's the $1 million question. That's the time management question that I'm still trying to figure out. So the really cool thing about my department is they've now implemented a wellness coach. She's also a therapist, and so she's literally, you can go for therapy or just, hey, like my schedule is insane. What do I do with this? I'll never forget. I think last week I went to her and I said I'm overwhelmed. I have research, I have classwork, but I also have leadership roles I might tend to. And I said, I feel like I'm drowning. I showed her my schedule, like, on my Google Calendar, and she's like, "You're going to burn out soon." She's like, "You're going to burn out
Ah,
soon." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. I can do it all." Because, yeah. And she was
right.
like, "No, you're human." Yeah.
Oh,
I kind of did a little bit. So she
yeah.
asked me, she said, "Well, so what are your two main goals this semester for the next 3 months? What do you want to get done?" And I told it to her. And she said, "Your schedule does not reflect that." She said, "Your schedule does not reflect the goals you want to get done. You're doing a lot, but you're not doing enough towards what you say is success." And that was the moment I
Oh,
was like,
a
oh,
wake up.
it was a
That was a
huge wake
wake
up
up call.
call. Because I'm so busy all the time
Yes.
between like obligations and just things I have to get done, and still feeling like I'm doing nothing at all. And that's kind of where the burnout comes from. And so she's the one who helped me kind of like dismantle everything and build it back up in a way that was attainable and actually realistic. So I would say that's my current method of doing that. But it's a
Right.
process.
It is a process, but you also do have to balance
Yeah.
that work life. Too often we get so caught up in trying to be everything to
Mhm.
everybody that we don't really take that time
Yeah.
out for ourselves. And we have to be real clear about our own personal
Yeah.
expectations. Then you can worry about somebody else's
Yeah.
expectations, but you got to start with
Yeah.
yours. Right. And so, where you are now and looking at all of these
Mhm.
opportunities that are going to come to you fast
Yeah.
and swift, what do you see happening in the
The
next
next
9 months?
9 months? Hmm. That's a hard question. You don't
It
think
can be
so?
hard.
So I'm hoping in the next 9 months, I would like to do an internship next summer at National Lab in nuclear weapons. And so I'm interested in like the governmental side of things, and like, military aspects. I'm hoping to go down there next summer and then hopefully possibly work in Capitol Hill in the fall if they have an opening there. So I would say I hope it's that. I
I
think
think
so
that's
too.
huge. I think that's
I mean,
like
I have
really
very lofty
huge.
goals, but like, they don't scare me.
Yeah, and that's
So
okay.
I say I try to dream big, and then what comes from that, I take it. I'm a big believer in you were where you're meant to be at all given times. And so just because a door
Yes.
closes, it just means it wasn't my door. And so usually
Right.
a better one comes along every single time. So it's like I may have my goal, but I allow what's meant to be mine to come find me too.
And you'll know that it's for you because your
One
spirit will
thousand
feel right.
percent. 1000%.
Right. And I say to folks, if I'm uncomfortable, if I need to think about it or
Mhm.
write it down more than a
Yeah.
couple of times, then something is not
Yeah.
right in
Yeah.
that document. We have to be real cautious about who we are and where we're going and how we're going
Yeah.
to get there,
Yeah.
right? I think it's wonderful that you're doing all of this and expanding into
Hmm.
Capitol Hill, because now what you want to be able to have is a well-rounded
Yeah.
experience. The
Yeah.
degree's great and you're going to get that, but you also want that
Hmm.
work that
Yeah.
shows who you are and how you're going to move to those
Yeah.
next levels and having people pay attention
Yeah.
to you.
I mean, yes, I always knew that I wanted to go to politics at some point in my lifetime. I just didn't know when. But I told myself it's like I'm really good at science. I really enjoy science. I see a lot of our world issues require science answers that are being answered by
Okay.
people who aren't scientists. And so I told myself, well, let me dive into what I know, what I'm good at, go get the work experience, like get it on paper, get the degree to get the respect, and I can actually go into a political space where it's like my solutions are backed up by my experience and my education. I don't want to be another person kind of just throwing out things without knowing what I'm talking
Right.
about. So
No,
it's like going
no.
into nuclear policy as a nuclear physicist. I think it makes me credible, and so it's kind of how I see myself.
And that's what you have to see
Yeah.
yourself there, sitting
Hmm.
in that seat, understanding what's
Yep.
on top of your desk and what's
Yep.
in underneath it. And we don't even look at it like that, because it is part of the psyche of
Yeah.
moving forward. What are three things that you'd like to accomplish over the
Three
next six
things.
months?
So I'm gonna do it in categories because I'm not
Oh,
just a scientist. I'm a person.
okay,
You know, it's like I'm a
okay,
human. I'm a person, and so my family matters to me. My friends matter to me, but also my work matters to me. So I would say, family wise, I think remaining close to my mom and to my siblings, to my brothers and my father, making sure that I maintain those bonds because that's what like grounds me in things. And when they're
yes,
tethered,
yes,
I don't do very well. So I think just keeping that bond strong is a big important a part, big really important to me. Yeah, I think my research wise, I want to get great data out. I have to do my exams in the spring to get my to be a PhD candidate, and that's coming up very very soon. So getting my instrumentation working and the whole system and navigating all that is kind of like taking over my mental space. So doing well, and I would say lastly, maintaining my physical health. It's like I really got into like
yes,
running and being mindful of my nutrition because I realized when I don't eat well, my brain does not function well. I finally made the connection for myself. And so doing my
ah,
best to like eat healthy, see nutritionists, like making sure that I'm actually taking care of my physical self so that I can be okay. So I would say probably the three main things that I'm working on.
but that's huge, and it'll help
Yeah,
you stay healthy,
yeah.
right? And stay healthy in order for you to reach all of these lofty
Mhm.
goals and
Oh
objectives that
yeah.
you set for yourself,
I've noticed even
right?
like if I don't sleep at night, the next day I am no good. A, I'm crabby.
Right.
And then B, it's like my brain just doesn't function in the way that I know it can. So honestly, just going to bed on time, it seems so small,
Mm,
but I think that's what
but
I've
it's not.
learned within the last like I say 2 months. I have to go to bed on time because the next day it's like
Yes,
people depend on me to get things done. I depend on me. My body depends on me, and I have to go to sleep. So yeah,
right. And you can't change that for anybody
no,
else in order for you to be a
yeah,
well-honed wheel,
yeah.
right? So where do you see yourself in the
Next
next
10
10 years?
years, a boss.
A boss. Oh, I'm gonna be a boss. That's what I'm gonna
I
be.
don't
I
know.
love
I
it.
would say I'm hoping somewhere in Capitol Hill. If I'm not there just of yet, maybe being an actual weapons designer and doing the like the hands-on like design and research and whatnot in that area. But also hopefully a wife and a mom. Like I want to have a family one day. Um, so I don't know.
And it's
I
all
hope
for
so.
you.
I really want it.
The world is your
Yeah.
oyster, girl. You can pick from it what
I
you
really
want.
hope so.
No, you can see it. You already
I
see yourself
do.
there.
Honestly, I say DC is my absolute favorite city. Like, no matter where I go, I'm a DC girl. I'm not from there, but I love it.
I love it.
So I go maybe twice a year to DC just to like be in the city and just to like feel
Mhm.
myself and like see myself here. So I find any excuse just to be anywhere near Capitol Hill, honestly. So yeah, I think you're
Mhm.
right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Autumn Leak. And I'm telling you, you
Thank
are
you.
rocking. And we see
Thank
you.
you.
And we see you.
It
Thank
means a
you so
lot.
much. And we'll see you next year at Black Engineer. And then we're going to see you at Woman of Color the
Sounds
following
good.
fall. And it's on.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Mhm.